Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. This is A Life Well Spent. My name is Kelly, and on this channel, I'm documenting my financial journey. So we talk things like, budgeting. I am doing something new this year called a Transfer Tuesday. I've walked some people through my debt payoff journey. I'm currently consumer debt free. The only debt I have is my mortgage, and there are links below that actually talk about, does my debt confession and my payoff plan and all of that kind of stuff. But anyway, that's a pretty exciting thing in my life. I'm also going to get into a little bit of conversations about investing. I'm trying to figure out the best um, spreadsheet set up to sort of track some of that stuff now. But when I go over my budget, you can see kind of what I'm putting towards any kind of investment accounts that are outside of the pension that I pay into. Yeah, so we'll get into it. Today's video is a video that I like to do. It's a weekly transactions video. I don't honestly know why I started doing this. Rather than just do kind of a whole month at a time, which I do a wrap up of my month. I found that when I do a weekly transaction wrap up, I'm much better about my spending. And now that I think about it, I do remember. I swear, y'all, I'm 43 and a half, almost 44. I guess I'm much closer to 44 than 43 and a half now. Um, and I swear, I don't know if it's just age or if it's COVID, or like I've got COVID brain or something, or if it's just like the stress of the last few years have just made my brain incapable of remembering anything short term. And sometimes I'm in the middle of talking and I remember, and I'm like, oh wait, no, 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 no. Like, why did I have such a wrong idea in my head? Um, but yeah, I'm not a dishonest person at all, but I feel like sometimes I lose my train of thought and I go, wait a minute, wait a minute. Now I remember exactly how that happened. Like I didn't before. So I was just like not making things up, but just, I guess my brain somehow concluded that that was the most reasonable thing. So that must be. Um, and then as I get talking, I'm like, wait a minute, now it's all come back. So I'm like, strike that. Didn't happen that way. And yeah, it makes me look like a total liar. But anyway, in talking, I do remember. So before COVID hit, I used to actually do cash envelopes, and I kept everything in cash that I had trouble spending on, or just things that, like, if I had sinking funds for something, I had them in cash. I didn't have them digitally, and just it was easier, right? It's really easy to keep track of cash in a cash envelope. So and in that way, keep track of your spending. So if I give myself $50 a month, which hey, back in like 2019, that was doable. Let's say I gave myself $50 to go out to eat with. That's all the eating out money I had. Then it was very easy to track how much I actually spent because I'd have a certain amount of cash left, right? If I got 10 bucks left, well, spent 40, only got 10 left to go. And then when COVID hit, I really didn't want to handle cash all that much anymore. Um, And I was finding that I was way overspending because in my head, I was forgetting maybe trips to a restaurant, or forgetting like what I had spent before, at a grocery store even. And in my head, I was like, well, no, it was only about $30, blah, blah, blah. So it means I really only spent, about maybe 80 so far this month. And turns out like, no, it was 160. And I'd get to the end of the month and I'd super blow my budget. So that's when I started doing kind of a weekly transactions video, and just kind of set it up for myself so I know exactly how much I'm spending every week. It just keeps me more accountable, which is why I do it. Um, I can't right now remember if I saw anybody else doing it this way. I mean, maybe, I'm guessing if people are like going over the week's spending and new transactions, people who are doing kind of a budget by paycheck might have done something similar. I don't know. I feel like I had to have seen it somewhere, and that's where I got the idea for it. But truly, I don't know. I don't remember. Anyway, that's what this video is today. Going over my transactions. I do a zero-based budget. which means before the month starts, every dollar, before I get it, it has an assignment, it has a place to go, something it's supposed to do. And I also have my bills set up so that pretty much all of my necessary money moves have been done in the first week of the month. And I'm able to do that because I was able to save up like a month's worth of salary in my checking account. And, um, well, between checking and savings, I guess. So I was able to get to the point initially when I first decided to do it. And I don't even remember when I did this. It probably was around a time when I was getting like a tax return refund or something like that, that I was able to be like, oh, hey, here's some random extra cash. Why don't I do it this way? But truly, I don't remember. Um, Back to that something not right with my brain business. Anyway, I start the month with a month's worth of income because every dollar in that month's worth of income has a job to do. It's easy enough to just start with that amount. So then I pay it out, and basically when I get paid, it just kind of, replenishes the supply. So I do that because I find that to be easier. Like I said, I'm fortunate enough in a position where I was able to have the money to do that. And I've done that for a while. And I know that not everybody is in a position where they can do that. Um, but I think it's been really helpful. I probably would not recommend doing that if you were somebody who really didn't have control over your spending quite yet, but I feel that I do, within reason anyway. And I I just cannot be bothered with the dance that people do when they say, "Oh, well, you know what? I'm not gonna pay that bill until after we get paid." And, "Oh, I'm gonna do like, I need to not buy this yet because, I'm not getting paid until Friday, so I need to wait until I get my paycheck," and blah, blah, blah. I can't be bothered to do that dance. Like, if you can, more power to you. If you have to, like, I get it. Um, that's just too many balls in the air for me. So I much prefer like all my bills come out on the first day of the month except my cell phone bill, which just based on how my cycle goes, and it's not a consistent amount, or I would just send it out on the first anyway. It's actually I pay by the gig, so if I for data, so if I don't use more than a gig of data, then I pay $12 plus like fees and whatnot. So it's like, I don't know, the bill's like $18 maybe. If I go over a gig, then it's like $30, So because it's not a consistent amount, I can't just have a set it and forget it. So I wait till that cycle ends, which is on, I think, the 5th. And so I usually get the bill on the 6th. So I pay it on the 6th. Um, but yeah, all of my like money transfers to my retirement accounts, to my like sinking funds, or that are things that I like consistently have to pay, all comes out on either the first day of the month or the fourth day of the month, and boom, it's done. And I don't have to think about it anymore. So this first week's transactions is a lot of those like consistent bills. And then just a little bit of spending like groceries, gas, things like that. But anyway, we'll get into it. Okay, so here we go. It is the month of March, the year 2024. Mortgage, 688.77. That's my mortgage payment, interest, PMI, taxes, all that kind of stuff. Which reminds me, I do have a tax document I've got to send to the bank. County taxes come out in March, I believe. My gas bill, 130.23. That's actually a lot cheaper than what it normally is for my February usage, but it was a very warm month. It's usually closer to $200. Sewer, $63. It's a flat rate. Water, $18.98. It's not really a flat rate, but it's like a minimum amount of usage, and I almost never go over that. So basically it is like a flat rate, although last month I did actually go over, probably because I had a couple of extra baths. There's a electric, $47.88. Internet is $68. $500 went to my Roth IRA. $100 went to my niece's brokerage account. My mother gave me many dollars. So I split it up because she splits it up so that we know exactly what she's paid for, what she hasn't paid for, especially since one of those is for the phone. So $20 is for the phone. If we end up having to use more data, then she sends me more. So that's kind of why we keep it split out so we know. So that is $20 to the phone. She also gives me $50 towards my niece's brokerage account. I put 50 in, she puts 50 in. I just pay it though. So she gives me the 50 and I move it over. My gym membership, I go to the local Y. It's $40.72. It is kind of expensive for a gym, but it has a pool, and that's kind of really what I'm there for. My mom also she gives me $35. We have some shared subscriptions, and she pays for some, I pay for others, and we're looking at reducing some of that, but that's basically between the two of us, it's $70 of like HBO and Disney and things like that. So that's where we're at right now. And then I just move that over to my sinking fund. And all I do, this is really just a notation so that my sinking fund section of my budget keeps track of that. So there's only $135 there. It came in, and I'm just doing this to be able to track it on the sheet. $7.50 for life insurance. It's just a term policy for like $25,000, maybe $50,000. I feel like I've had that forever, so I really need to take a look at those documents and find out when that leaves. Truthfully, I don't need it. But also it's $7.50 a month, so I'm not crying about it. Apple $2.99, that's just iCloud storage. The NLC is $17. It's an Nittany Lion Club. I pay that out once a year, so I just put $17 in my account every month, and then pay $200 at the end of the year. Subscriptions, this is $120. So some of this is not just streaming services. Like my mother and I really don't have a lot of streaming services. In fact, we've cut a few. We're going to cut more, but this also includes my Garmin InReach, which I use for hiking, and it's designed to it gives my mother peace of mind. And it gives me peace of mind because it has an SOS button, and I like that that's there in case there's something that happens to me and I need assistance somewhere. It also communicates via satellite. So kind of no matter where I am, I mean, as long as there's a clear view of the sky, I can get word out to my mom that like I'm in camp for the night, or I'm safe, or I'm fine, or whatever. We can kind of communicate back and forth. So that's expensive. But in here is also included, like I have cameras, and there's like a cloud service that stores video, which I'd love to get rid of, but we've had some problems with break-ins nearby. So I'm not quite ready to get rid of that yet, but includes I have a VPN. I do like a NordPass password manager sort of thing. So it's stuff like that. That's not all like, I look at subscriptions and I think it means like, oh my God, I'm doing, 18 different streaming things and a gaming thing and a, Kindle Unlimited and all that. And it's not really, it's a combination of like things for the household more so than like entertainment. Car insurance, $59. I just put that over in an account and pay it out twice a year. I just paid it last month, so we're going to be building that back up. Xfinity Mobile, that's my cell phone, $36.62. That's for me and my mother. So she gives me 20 of that. So I pay 16, she pays, or well, 16.62 or whatever. She pays 20 for that. $36.72, which I first thought was honestly a typo, was a trip to Sam's Club. So I get, I spend this about every week at Sam's Club. I get a bunch of they have these like pre-made salad mix bags, and they're only $3 a piece. And that's, I mean, they're like $5 or $6 in the grocery store. And I've just kind of decided that like I'm in, kind of on a journey to like lose weight, to get healthier, to get fit. And ultimately, like, you're going to spend something, right? You're going to spend your time and your energy, or you're going to spend your money. And I've just decided I would rather spend a little bit more money, because like those are my lunches, right? I spend $36.72 and I get 5 bagged salads for the week. I eat one a day, and the pack of chicken that's got like 6 chicken breasts in it or something like that are already cooked. And then I usually get with it I think the chicken breasts now are like $14 or something. And then I usually get with it like a thing of raspberries, a thing of blueberries, and maybe strawberries. But lately the strawberries haven't looked that great, so I haven't gotten them in a while. But yeah, I mean, that covers a lot of my food for the week. And could I get it cheaper? Could I, make salads and what have you? Like, yeah, I probably could, but this takes zero time at all. Like, I literally take a piece of chicken out, put it in a little storage thing, grab a bag salad, and like, boom, there's my lunch. And I don't have to worry about it, right? That gives me more time in the morning to like work out and do what I need to do. So I don't care. Farm market, that is like a little Amish market near me, $27.45. Just more grocery stuff. There's some things I kind of needed to restock on, and they do like bulk things. So that's that. And then Panera, I spent $8.78 at Panera because I made this absolutely delicious meal that I love, and it's called a cheesesteak stew. If you've never had a cheesesteak, I feel for you. If you're from where I'm from, anywhere really in the Northeast probably has a cheesesteak because it's come out of Philly. You know what a cheesesteak is. It's a delicious sandwich. However, this particular stew is A, delicious, B, topped with provolone, and C, this one's served in a bread bowl because that's part of it's a sandwich, right? So it's like basically a cheesesteak in a soup eaten in a bread bowl. So I got some bread bowls to eat with that soup, and it was delicious and I loved it. I also sent $70.83 to Fidelity. Now I did that on the 6th of March, and I did that because I noticed that between my Roth IRA and my HSA, I intend to max them out, even though I don't actually pay the max now. I'm basically going to get to another point where like I'll throw extra money on it. Typically I will do it with my like the third pay of a month. I did last month kind of sort of accidentally with my tax return. So anyway, even though I'm not quite paying it out every month quite like that, suffice it to say, if I total up my contributions to my IRA, which is $7,000, and my max contributions to an HSA, which is $4,150, and I divide that by 12, I get like 900 and change that I am putting towards a form of retirement account. At present, I don't plan on touching my HSA. I would like to just pay out of pocket. I'm starting up a medical sinking fund to be able to pay for those things out of pocket. And then just keep that HSA in an account and just go, let it grow. And yeah, I think there's like $33,000 in there now, and it's invested and all of that kind of stuff. So I'd like to keep it that way. But anyway, when I totaled all those things up, divided by 12, I realized that like, wow, it's like a 900 and some dollars. I think I want to make it an even thousand into an account that's being invested for something in my future and be done with it. So that's what I did. And so that $70.83 just goes into a regular brokerage account that I have. I set one up a while ago with the intent of like, hey, any extra money I squeeze out of my budget goes into here. I've not gotten to the point yet where I'm getting extra money to squeeze out of my budget. So I was like, you know what? Fine. I will come up with $70.83 somewhere, somehow. It is what it is. So I'm going to do $1,000 a month and try to do that until I retire. And I will hopefully be sitting on a pretty penny. And I wish I had thought of this when I was 20, but I did not. So that's it for transactions up through the 7th. I did get paid. So I did write in my income in there, but haven't tracked it quite yet. So on track pretty well. Things are working great so far. And like I said, I do this to keep myself on track, because when I then click over into my budget, I can kind of see, where I'm at as far as like where if I've overspent or underspent. So like, here we go. Yeah, I was off by 60 cents. No big deal. Here I'm under. Haven't bought any gas yet. I'm actually thinking if I did this last week and just haven't tracked it yet. But anyway, looking at things. I'm going, okay, didn't spend here, didn't spend there yet. Like I got some wiggle room with things. If I were, let's say I spent like $50 on something for my house and I'd be like, dang, okay, I'm over $25. So I need to try to pull that money from somewhere, right? But you don't know that unless you track weekly. So leave a comment, let me know, how do you track your expenses? Are you writing them down in paper? Do you kind of go in like weekly? I tend to go in every couple of days and take care of it. I just haven't because I wasn't feeling well the last couple of days. Um and I knew that I hadn't done the video yet, so I was like, I'll just wait until I do the video and then track what I need to track. But at this point, I pay for almost everything with a card in some way or another. So, like, I can pull up my Discover card and look at the transactions. I can pull up my um, debit card and look at the transactions and kind of see from there. So, I actually will probably get started as soon as I'm done with this video on doing some more of the transactions and figure out. But typically, I like to do it at least like on the weekends. And just set aside a little bit of time on the weekend to do it. But what ends up happening is like I'm at my computer and I'm going, oh, I'll just throw these in quick, and just keep budgeting. And like I said, I do that to keep myself on track so that I'm not like super overspending. I mean, there will be times when I overspend and I'm okay with it because there's something that, has come up for sale that I've been meaning to buy. And I've been like, yep, all right, I'm going to buy that today. And that's okay. Like, as long as you're being intentional about your spending, you understand what you're spending when you're spending it. I think that that's fine. And I also feel like even if I don't fully, or even if I'm not fully able to do it, I'm going to word this. Even if I come in over budget a little bit, I think it's still way better than what I would be doing if I didn't have a budget at all, right? If I didn't track my transactions, if I get to the end of the month and I'm still like, man, I overspent by like $50. I probably would have overspent by like $300 if I wasn't tracking. So even if I miss a little bit, I still feel like I'm going in the right direction with my money. And so I'm okay with it, if that makes sense. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.